various cancers, of course, have various therapies. I'm not an expert at all, but chemotherapy is used, radiation is used, and surgery, in many cases, as in my case, was successful to remove the melanoma from my right groin before it had spread elsewhere and could spread elsewhere. Clearly, had it gotten out of my groin, just as it had gotten out of a wart that was on my ankle almost 8 years before and ended up in my groin, then it would be a different story. And you don't know. And there was nothing at that time really that you could do much about it. There was one therapy that was FDA approved. Dr. Kirkwood in Pittsburgh had developed a therapy that would make you sick for the first 30 days as if you had flu, and loss of energy for the next 11 months. And he would give you at that time about 26% over the field. So I called him up and I said, Dr. Kirkwood, what about this? And he told me the downside, and that maybe 26% better chance of delaying an onset and delaying death. And I was very busy at that time in my career, working day and night, very hard. And I thought, if I lose energy for a year, I think, so I didn't do it. Again, I rolled the dice on it that way. Each patient has to do one of two things: have a good oncologist and get a second opinion. Someone once told me, you may not get to play this hand twice. You got the cards once. You better make certain you've got the right cards to play. So good doctors, whether we're talking about cancer or any other dread disease, don't resent the fact if you say I'd like a second opinion or a third opinion. They welcome it, because doctors are not infallible, no matter how hard they work and how much they know and how much study they've made of their field. Because if they were infallible, we'd have a cure for all of this. I suppose my life has continued roughly the same way after my cancer diagnosis. And as the years passed, I was waiting to see if my melanoma would return or not. But I can clearly understand that once you get into the cancer club, and it's a club that no one volunteers to join. It's not like, I want a swank apartment on Park Avenue. Will the committee in the apartment house approve my application? No, you're drafted. You're in it. You're thrown into the bottom of the barrel. You try to do your part. And in doing your part, you do two things. You have a greater understanding of what people go through because you've gone through it when they get a diagnosis of cancer. Now, I'd had friends who died of cancer before I was diagnosed and who had cancer, and I felt for them and I felt sorry for them, but the kind of empathy that I was able to feel after my own experience was much higher. For instance, I tell people, if you have a friend or even a stranger who approaches you and says, I hear you had this, that, my husband has just been diagnosed with that, reach out and say, well, here I am. Join this club. Over 10 million cancer survivors. It can be your husband. It can be your friend. Because when I was diagnosed, I had a unit in Washington, D.C. at ABC News. And if you work for a large network, you don't actually, unless you're the top anchor, work for the network forever. You work for a unit. If the unit goes away, then your job goes away. So I sat them down on the Friday that I had been diagnosed, my staff, and I said, look, guys, you should know this about me. We don't know what the outcome is going to be. It could be very favorable. But on the other hand, who knows? So you better be thinking about, if I go away and the unit goes away, what you're going to do with yourself. And it got in the newspaper. So on Monday morning, my assistant said, Senator Mack is on the phone for you. Now, Connie Mack was then the senior senator in Florida. I had met him superficially. I'd never covered him. He was not a social friend. I took the call, of course, and I said, Senator, he said, Sam, I understand you've been diagnosed with melanoma. I said, yes, sir, I have. He said, well, don't worry about it. He said, 6 years ago, I had melanoma tumors, lesions all over the surface of my body. And we were able to successfully get rid of them, and I'm alive and well today. Well, I loved that call, and I love Connie Mack to this moment. I would follow him almost anywhere because the lift it gave me when I'm thinking still, who is this Dr. Rosenberg who said I might be okay, who knows? I thought I might die. And Connie says, no, hey, look at me. So I'd say to people, if you're a survivor of cancer, call somebody up that you know has your type of cancer and say, look here, you can be with me. We'll go out and have a beer together in a few years. And they just feel great.